We have all seen it and heard it. Italians gathering together for dinner with all their countless family members enjoying themselves, talking loudly, singing and dancing and having the time of their life. Or you go to Valencia. It's mid-October, the sun is still out and about. You crave some afternoon shopping in the center, only to realize that all the shops are closed from 2 p.m. onwards. So, naturally, you think to yourself, how is this lifestyle even possible? Or, how do they get anything done living this laid back life? While this lifestyle has its own downsides, the positives are evident. Southern European countries are ranked among the longest life expectancies in the world, fewest rates of obesity, and generally among the healthiest of people in all age brackets. This way of living isn't meant for everybody, and also it would be impossible to recreate it in places like the Scandinavian countries. But we can all learn from some of the things Mediterranean people are doing right and implement them for our own benefit. Here are 5 reasons why Mediterranean people live longer and usually better. The first one is obvious, the sun. We all know it. Vitamin D, optimal for our hormones, bone health, strong immune system, our mental health, energy levels, and so on. One could say that we were designed to live around sunshine. You might argue that vitamin D supplements do the same thing, but this is where we disagree. What they don't tell you is that a big portion of those supplements don't get absorbed properly. Of course, they have their place and their time in the colder months, but it's crucial to try to obtain our vitamin D by the natural means when we can, by going outside every day. The second reason is nutrition, but it's not as straightforward as it seems. There are many opinions on the topic. Some say it's because of the mainly plant-based dishes with fruit and vegetables that are an integral part of the Mediterranean cuisine. Paella, pasta with tomatoes, or stuffed peppers show that vegetables are on a pedestal in Greece, Italy, and Spain. On the contrary, the carnivore advocates say that the cuisine is so healthy due to the suitable fats and proteins present in the seafood, the olive oil, the veal, the pork, the lamb. The discussion is ongoing, but what I think both sides are missing is our main clue. I believe that the key element is that the food in those regions is mostly unrefined and unprocessed. It comes from local farms, gardens, or the sea nearby. People have their own plantations and crops, so the food is as pure as possible, which is not the case in other parts of Europe or North America, where a lot of the food is altered and made to last longer with preservatives. This correlates with the almost non-existent obesity rates, and this is what we could take into our own diets. The next one is probably the most crucial one, and let me illustrate it for you. Imagine walking in a town in Italy on a late afternoon or an early evening. The cafes and bars are full. People are having their daily aperitivo. And it's not only youngsters, it's people from all walks of life, from teenagers to pensioners. Everyone is taking the steam off with some friends after a long day. Furthermore, this is a common practice for all. Small talk with the neighbors, a stroll around the sea, or playing football with some mates. Social bonds are essential for the Mediterranean people. Nowadays we tend to isolate ourselves after work or school, get indoors, stay behind screens until it's time to do it all over again the next day. Maybe we are not meant to live like that. A popular study stated that prolonged social isolation is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. You could be doing everything right in terms of health, but if you're lacking meaningful social connections, there'll always be that void that needs to be fulfilled. The fourth one is something that would be the easiest to replicate, yet we still miss out on it. Think of the Amalfi Coast, Santorini, Athens or Barcelona. What is the common denominator? They are all settlements on one or multiple hills with a dense and concentrated city center that is made for walking. So, If you have to do some grocery shopping and you live in the center, you have to walk back and forth just to fulfill your basic needs. Then add the commute to work or school, which usually goes on without a car. This physical activity adds up to a decent amount, even without doing any actual exercise. In other countries, people drive to do their groceries, drive to meet their friends, drive to the gym, and generally drive everywhere, while incorporating walking might be doing you a lot more good than you think. The final reason is actually more of an attitude towards life. Let's call it the siesta mindset. It manifests itself during 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. every afternoon, or when something bad happens and they just don't bother to be bothered. It basically gives people the courage to not dwell onto troubles and focus on the beauty of life. It is like stress is less powerful with it. That specific trait of the Mediterranean people I truly admire because it always flips bad situations on their back. It's not a trait that everyone possesses, but it's common enough to make an impression. And as we know, high stress is one of the worst things for our health. It literally ages us. So yeah, you might wanna ease it off on yourself the next time you're crushed by an assignment or a boss that is getting on your nerves. Although the culture and lifestyle of the Southern Europeans has its own downsides, like economic performance, poorer education levels, and higher bureaucracy, it is very close to optimal for our health and well-being. I don't imply that we should all move to Greece or Spain, or that we should force ourselves to live their way, even if it's not our cup of tea. However, applying some of those 5 principles may benefit your health and mindset in ways that supplements or pharmaceutical drugs wouldn't ever be able to do that.